How many photos are on your camera roll right now? Enough to stress you out? Same. Here's what finally worked for me. Chatbooks. And they've got a podcast-exclusive deal that's honestly wild. 12 monthly mini photo books for just $12, plus free shipping. That's a full year of printed memories for less than a month of streaming. Go to chatbooks.com/get12. That's chatbooks.com/get12 and grab it before it's gone.
Alrighty, welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. Today we are talking primarily basketball with a smidge of football mixed in. Primarily, we're going to be discussing the Milwaukee Bucks and their 4 games over the last week. We will talk a little bit about the Giannis injury and where they kind of go from here. But we're going to cover the 2 games against the Hornets, the game against the Lakers, and the game against the Cavaliers. Then we're going to stick in basketball, and we're going to recap the one Badgers basketball game against SIU from Monday. And then we are going to do our abbreviated Badgers football preview and recap. So we're going to hit the intro, and we're going to start discussing Bucks basketball.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so we're going to jump in. Let's start with the Bucks game from last Wednesday, and I'm going to be blatantly clear and honest with you. I do not put very much stock into the no Giannis games. I just try to find some good takeaways. So looking at last Wednesday's game, Miles Turner played well. He had 21 points. He was 7 of 14 from the field, 3 for 8 from the three-point line, and 4 for 5 from the free throw line. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals to go with his 21 points. I'm going to look at 2 other guys. Didn't have great games. Kyle Kuzma had kind of a rough game. He had a rough stretch in the third quarter where he missed 2 layups long and then had a third one blocked. Just kind of a rough stretch, but finished with only 8 points, but had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, and a steal. Only 1 turnover. So it's good for them, good for him to keep those down. Cole Anthony also had a rough game. Just trying, kind of hoping that it's a get out of your system kind of game for both of those guys. The other thing I will say is Ryan Rollins had another efficient night. He was 10 of 15 from the field, 4 for 6 from the three-point line, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. He did spend most of his time guarded by Sion James, who I have to say is a rookie who's playing pretty well. He was the number 33 overall pick, so he was barely a second-round pick. He's just outside the first round. But Jake and I kind of agree that the Hornets did a really good job in the draft this year. They added, obviously, Con Knippel. They added Ryan Kalkbrenner and Sion James. Those 3 are all playing pretty well. So good on the Hornets for having some good draft picks. And obviously we respect Charles Lee, who was on the Bucks coaching staff for a long time.
Yes.
Other than that, the Bucks' zone defense is still a great asset, especially when all 5 guys are locked in. It's something that we're going to talk about more for sure as this recaps go on. But Jake, what stood out to you from last Wednesday?
Yeah, so talking about their draft, Kalkbrenner was causing a lot of problems early in this game. His size alone was an issue for the Bucks. The Bucks are kind of a small team, something that I'm going to be talking about throughout this recap today. That's why the zone defense works so well, I think, because people can't take advantage of their size advantage as much, in the zone defense. Now, obviously, you can force things, and call different plays, to get size on some smaller guys. But he was causing some issues, blocked a couple shots, made some layups. He started out really nicely for them. Talking about Ryan Rollins, it's nice to know that when Giannis is out, because, really you're evaluating these guys when Giannis is out to like, okay, what role is this guy going to take without 34 having the ball all day? Excuse me. And Ryan Rollins has formed himself into, the kind of the go-to scorer. Like you said, he really filled up the box score with 5 rebounds and 6 assists as well. He's very efficient. 4 for 6 from the three-point line. So you can pretty much pencil him in that he's an efficient three-point shooter. And people still continue to sag off him, which is insane. Now, I understand he has a really good first step and he's really long. So when he gets to the rim, he can finish. So him having that three-point shot as efficient as he is right now, that's going to make him a weapon for the Bucks. Somebody who they need to get going is Gary Trent Jr. He's had games and stretches like this last year as well. And I will say to go to his credit, in his career, he showed himself to be a good scorer in the NBA. You don't just average 18 and not be a good scorer. Right?
I actually have a note on him when we get into some of the later games, because there is the Cavaliers game. I do actually think he played fairly well in the fourth quarter of that game, actually.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say I'm worried, but, especially, everybody knows by now, but especially with the injury with Giannis, he's going to be a guy that's going to need to step up, especially in the scoring category. Cole Anthony, I wanted to talk about Cole Anthony, 2 for 12 from the field. He had a rough day, shooting 4 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 for 2 from 3. He hasn't taken that many 3-pointers in games. I think that he's a capable shooter, so I wouldn't mind seeing him take 3 to 5 a game, honestly. Yeah, I wouldn't be upset with that, especially over the next 2 weeks when they're going to let Giannis fully get himself healthy. The thing that I wanted to say about Cole, he just needs to be more decisive. He kind of, to me, looks like a guy that is still trying to fit in, I guess is the way that I'm going to put it. When he could get that mid-range shot off, and I like his mid-range shot. He's made some tough ones this year. Yeah, he's got a good floater. He's quick. He gets.
We talked about it last week too. Like his change of speed is actually really good too.
Yeah, and he has good creativity with the playmaking. So when he comes into the game, just give him the ball and let him be a true point guard. And that we talked about it coming into the year. We've been talking about it pretty heavily every single game. Is he can get the ball downhill fast. He allows us to play faster. And the next big change is he's another ball handler that the Bucks were missing last year. So they added a couple ball handlers. Now he's a smaller guy, so he goes to the problem that we have, which is rebounding, right? And rebounding continues to be my main concern with this team going forward. The Hornets, they beat the shit out of us on the boards. They had 50 rebounds. We had 34. So that's really the biggest issue. And I texted this to you. The first person in line when Giannis is out that's going to help with the offensive rebounds needs to be Miles Turner. I understand people saying about Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis had 8 rebounds. With Giannis out, he needs to have 12.
I think Bobby Portis needs to step up in Giannis's absence, defensive rebounding.
Yes. And something that could help is Miles Turner being a little bit better at boxing out. That's the one thing that he doesn't do that Brook Lopez is elite at. And we tried to tell people for the last couple of years, he's only averaging 4 rebounds. He's only averaging 5.1 rebounds. Yes, he's 7 feet, only averaging 5 rebounds on purpose.
Yep.
He's quite literally boxing out so Giannis can get the ball quicker. And we were trying to tell people that, and they did not listen.
Yep.
Now, that's where Bobby, to your credit, I agree. He could be a guy that could be better at boxing out, going to grab those rebounds. Miles Turner could be better at boxing out. But also the little guys, the point guards, the shooting guards, the small forward, they could also help with the boxing out because, especially against the Hornets, I'm forgetting his name. It might be I'm forgetting his name. I apologize. But he was crashing the boards consistently. 23. Who is that? Long shorts, headband.
Oh, Trey Mann.
Yeah. He was destroying us coming from behind the three-point line.
Andrew said Colin's mom fed those Hornet boys a hearty meal. Hard to overcome a good home-cooked meal.
Hey, you're not wrong. We're going to get into that game in a sec. I just wanted to say, just boxing out a little bit better. But the assist numbers show and the turnovers show that the Bucks were moving the ball well and efficiently. So maybe just rebounding a little bit more, and this outcome could have been different.
Okay. I'll let you go first, and let's talk about Friday. You see a 13-point margin of victory, and you're thinking, okay, cool. The Bucks had a nice, easy win, and you realize that game went into overtime, and then the Bucks win the game by 13 points in overtime.
Yeah. So first of all, this was Giannis's 9th 30-point game of the season already. He did have 40 in this game. He had 40 in this game. 40 points, 7 rebounds, 18 assists. That's
pretty 25 points.
Oh, wait, I wrote it down for the wrong game. I'm sorry. Yep, you're right. 25 points, my fault.
I was like, what? Yeah, 47 and 18. God damn, he better be the front runner for MVP.
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong game. I have 2 games on this sheet. My fault. But the Bucks shot the lights out in this game. The Hornets, really the only guy that really shot the lights out was Bridges. I know that Khan had a lot of three-pointers. He had a lot of attempts, but really Miles Bridges was the one that, had the great game. Let's talk about the defense, which can be a little bit concerning at times. Now, the 22 turnovers from the Bucks really didn't help the case.
Yeah.
That hurt them a lot. But when you get a missed dunk that falls right into the lap of their number one shooter who they want to shoot the three-pointers, you have something going for you.
Dude, that might be the luckiest thing I have ever seen on an NBA court.
That was insane to me. I was like, and like he missed a dunk like perfect strength. It bounced one time right into his hands. He stepped. It looked like it was a bounce pass, dude. I was like, what in the hell? Rollins, another efficient day from the field. Miles Turner was lighting it up. 6 3-pointers for him. Kyle Kuzma, man. Kyle Kuzma was balling. 29, 10, and 5 for him. 11 to 17 from the field. He was absolutely elite.
Plus 4 steals and a block.
4 steals and a block. He striped a couple 3-pointers as well. So he did a nice job running the floor, getting to that opposite corner, that weak side corner where Giannis can find him. But, you know, they were building the wall. And to your credit, talked about former Bucks coach being on the Hornets now. And he knows how to defend Giannis. He knows all of Giannis's icks. He knows where Giannis wants to go, where he's strong. And to their credit, the Hornets did a nice job building that wall. And Giannis was just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to pass the rock. And guys made their shots, and we scored 147 freaking points, dude. That's a lot of points. The Bucks moved to plus 2-0 in the NBA Cup as well. But I'm going to let you go here.
You brought up the 18 assists, and that was like, okay, that's what this roster can do with Giannis's gravity. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what they did. They built this roster to be Giannis and shooters. Like that's their main thing. And then we talked about Kyle Kuzma basically playing like great value Giannis. Like that's kind of what we're going for here, which makes perfect sense to me. Kuzma being inserted into the starting lineup, we're starting to see some of the chemistry between Kuzma and Giannis. Their ball moving back and forth. The great pass that Kuzma had after Giannis passed to Kuzma back to Giannis right down the lane for a huge dunk. Kuzma hit a corner 3 off of a pass from Giannis. And like you said, Kuzma finished with 29, 10, 5 assists, 4 steals, and a block. He was plus 25. So Kuzma had a really, really good game. Got a block on the first possession, led the Bucks with 14 points in the first half, had 15 points in the second half, so really balanced scoring in this game also. You brought up Miles Turner, another great 3-point night for him. He hit 3 straight threes in the first quarter at one point. He was one of the big recipients of a lot of open shots thanks to all the attention on Giannis. He finished 6 for 8 on threes and was a team high plus 27. Giannis, looking at him defensively, the Hornets were 6 for 18 from the field against Giannis, which is insane. And to your credit, you talked about this with the Hornets game on the road. The Bucks did limit the Hornets to 12 second chance points this game. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's not a number that's going to hurt you. Looking at Ryan Rollins again, he shot efficiently again. He made threes, made some tough runners, hit a step back 3 in the clutch time, scored 8 straight points in the fourth quarter at one point. He was 8 for 12 from the field, 4 for 6 from the 3-point line, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He was plus 26. Gary Harris deserves some credit. Yeah. Gary Harris played some very solid minutes in this game. He played some solid defense. He had good closeouts, no flybys. That's something that people complained about Pat Connaughton doing for years. Gary Harris, high hand closeouts. That's a good job by him. He had 2 steals and a block to go with his 4 for 5 shooting, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. Yes, he banked one in from the side, but people get lucky like that once in a while too. You shoot enough threes, it'll happen to you at least once.
Dude, that's a crazy angle to bank from, dude. And that high up the back was crazy.
I think I've done that like twice in my life.
That's insane.
And you know me, like I shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
But he finished with 10 points. He had 3 deflections, and he held LaMelo Ball to 2 for 7 shooting from the field. So Gary Harris played some pretty good minutes. Cole Anthony did play better, passing well, hitting his mid-range, something you brought up. 22 turnovers is crazy work. That's way too much, and I'm going to just highlight it. Giannis had 7 of them. One of them came on a really, really, really stupid offensive foul call, which I'll just pull up because, like, what the actual fuck is happening? Like, how is this an offensive foul? We spent the last 2 weeks talking about Kyle Kuzma getting in front of ball handlers just like this having his feet more set than Plumlee does, getting called for blocks, but now Giannis is the offensive player, and now it's an offensive foul. I could show you those 3 plays alone. The one that Giddey ran over Kuzma, the one where Kuzma stepped in front of, I believe it was Jaden Hardy. Both were called blocks. And then this play where Giannis gets called for a charge, and that you could send and just be like the league, be like, here, explain this. That would be enough to be like, what the hell is the officiating this year?
Yeah.
And we'll get to the Cavs game. That one was egregious as well as something that happened in the other direction. And you can look at that and just be like, what the hell is happening? But going back to this game, to the Hornets game, 22 turnovers is too much. Giannis had 7. Cole Anthony had 4. Kuzma and Bobby Portis had 3. But I will say Cole Anthony and Kuzma also had 5 assists each, and obviously Giannis had the 18 assists. It's one of those things where the ball is in your hand more. Your turnovers are going to go up. Your assist numbers are going to go up. It's just kind of some of those things that kind of play in hand.
Yeah.
I'm still wanting the Bucks to be under 15 turnovers, ideally under 13. That's where I want them to be. And like I said this, I think 2 weeks ago, if the pace goes up, the assist numbers you would expect to go up because there's more possessions, which means you also have to anticipate that turnovers are going to go up. That's just something you have to accept. When there's more possessions, there's going to be more of everything. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of how it works. That said, 31 points off turnovers for the Hornets. Yeah. That is sick. Makes me sick. 31 points off turnovers is insane. You need to cut that in half. That needs to be cut in half.
At the very least.
Turnovers is wild.
Yeah.
The Bucks had 20 points off turnovers themselves, and I want to give credit to Kyle Kuzma. 9 of them were scored by him. So Kyle Kuzma had almost half of our points off turnovers. That said, I want to give credit to Miles Turner for a couple things. One, he got dunked on. All shot blockers do. Victor Wembanyama's been dunked on.
Yep.
Giannis has been dunked on. Like it happens to literally everybody who wants to block shots. Dustin, thank you. It happens to everybody who wants to block shots. You are going to get dunked on. There is so much athleticism in the NBA. If you want to block shots, you have to be willing to get dunked on.
And not to mention the pace also has something to do with that too.
Sure. And I'll be honest with you, I respect the people who are willing to get dunked on to try to block a shot way more than I let the people who make the business decision to get out of the way. I get that if a guy's already up in the air with a 38-inch vertical that you're not going up to block that. But if you're going up at the same time, one of the greatest blocks in Milwaukee Bucks franchise history, I'd go as far as to say the greatest block in Milwaukee Bucks history, doesn't happen if Giannis isn't willing to get dunked on by a DeAndre Ayton.
It is the greatest block in Bucks history.
Yeah. I thought about it as I was saying, and I'm like, yeah, that probably is. Hey, Dustin, send us a message. Aside from that, Miles Turner did have 2 threes to start the overtime period, so I like that he stayed locked in. I don't love the shot that Giannis took at the end of regulation. I get that it's very, very similar to the shot that he made against the Pacers, which also don't love the shot. But I feel like we could have gotten a better shot than that, especially with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Versus the Pacers, it was like 4. Versus the Hornets, there was like 10 seconds to work with. Ryan Rollins was pretty close to him open, and we just talked about him having 2 really good three-point shooting games in a row.
I want you to tell your idea that you told me on Xbox later that night.
You know what? I don't even remember at this point.
I remember it clearly because I was like, dude, that's fucking spot on. You talked about how the AJ Green and Giannis pick and roll was literally unstoppable.
Yep.
I was like, he's right. And then I threw out the idea. I was like, dude, Ryan Rollins was right next to him, and Rollins shoots really good in the corner.
Yep.
And you were like, yeah, that's true too. So either of those options are better than just letting Giannis dribble and then turn around, which is not his strong suit. Strong suit.
His jumper is better when he gets like the couple pound dribbles into his pull-up.
And the one against the Pacers, he turned over the right shoulder and shot it like a Dirk fade. The one against the Hornets, he had to do a full circle like he was Kobe Bryant, bro.
And I got somebody watching on YouTube that doesn't want us to read their username just to say hi.
Rar.
But I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I feel they could have gotten a better shot in that situation. Now, so we have to talk about refs again. And I hate that we have to keep doing this, but dude. So we showed the charge that Giannis got called for against Plumlee. They later stated after doing the review that Plumlee was, quote, in front of his straight line drive, and then also in the same breath said, though the player attempted to Euro around him. How can you say straight line drive while also saying the player attempted to Euro around him? So you mean he tried to avoid the contact? Then how is that an offensive foul? He literally tried to avoid the contact, and you're saying it's an offensive foul because he got in front of the straight line drive.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Hey,
I'm just going to read the RAR part. Thank you. It doesn't make sense. How can you say somebody's going in a straight line and then also say he's trying to Euro step to avoid the contact?
Yeah, I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I don't have as many examples as I've had the last couple weeks, but like, what are these foul calls? I mean, Ryan Rollins barely touches the guy's elbow, like barely. We're talking barely, but he flails, so he gets the call. Like, dude, that's what we're calling. And then we get to other situations later in the game and stuff like this. That's a foul. That's a body foul. That's a bump foul. If you're going to call all the stuff on AJ Green, like that's a foul. If you're going to call these little hip bumps stuff, why is it not being called for the Bucks as much as it's being called against the Bucks?
You know what doesn't make sense to me is you see that foul on Diakite that Rollins committed a foul.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see Giannis literally getting grabbed by the arm and the refs say, well, he's playing through it, so we can't call a foul. Yes, you can. You're literally in charge. That is quite literally your job.
Yeah. And then what I hate is when they're like talking on broadcast and like, well, they can't call everything. They should. So people stop fouling. I'm not saying you have to call a foul every single time he touches the ball, but he's getting fouled damn near every time he touches the ball.
Or just call it even both ways.
Or just call the obvious shit. Steve, I agree with you. It looked like he did nothing. But again, he barely touched him. He did, like, there is a little bit of contact. But the flail, the jumping like a starfish is what gets in the foul call.
Yeah,
that's the shit that's what they're doing. They're rewarding that stuff. Now, this, I mean, you can't be missing this stuff. In 2025, you can't be missing this stuff. This is Giannis is going to go down in transition, go up with a layup. It's going to hit the backboard and then get blocked, and it's not going to be called. You cannot miss this. I'm going to hide the banner again so that you can see it better, but you can't miss this. Backboard first, then blocked. That's a goaltend. You cannot be missing this stuff. This is twice this year that this has happened. You cannot be missing this. Like, I don't understand how this happens right in front of somebody and you don't see that it hit the backboard first. Like, how do you miss that?
That one's pretty egregious. That's pretty obvious.
It's 2025. You can't be missing this shit. And if you can go back like 8 possessions later and take away a shot because somebody's heel was touching out of bounds, spoiler alert for a game that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, you can go back and say this was a goaltend, put 2 points on the board.
Dude, they do it all the time with 3-pointers when it's close and they don't know if it's a 3 or a 2.
If you can see that a guy's foot was on the line and a 2 was a 3 or a 3 was a 2, you should be able to go back and be like, yeah, that was a goaltend, count the basket. If you're going to go back and look at possessions and, you know, they're going to review them, that shit has to be reviewable. But I did come with a palate cleanser, so we're going to end on a good thing, and this is just an insane pass by Giannis. It's not as far as some of the cross-court stuff that we've seen, but we've seen a lot of times where Giannis is going to get into this position right here, and he's looking for AJ Green and Miles Turner, maybe Ryan Rollins, but he's going to be physically looking at them and then just hit a little flick out to Kuzma for a corner three. That's some of that chemistry that I'm talking about.
That was nice.
So we're going to end on that one. Dustin said how some superstars get calls and these role players do not. I mean, we talked about it. There were games last week where Giannis and Cole Anthony were the only ones drawing fouls in the fourth quarter. Like some of these games, and again, I have more stats of it as we move on. We can move on to the Lakers game. I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm just going to jump into it because I have the numbers right in front of me, and it's sickening. The Lakers game was the 7th game of 9 games in November where the Bucks opponent made more free throws than the Bucks attempted.
Damn.
7 out of 9. Their opponent was taking and making more free throws than the Bucks were even attempting. One of them was played without Giannis. So 6 of 8 games that Giannis played in November up to the Lakers game, 75% of their games, the Bucks opponents were getting more makes than the Bucks were getting attempts. Dustin said, I feel Kyle is underrated at times, but sometimes not playing up to his potential. That's the duality of guys being inconsistent at times. That's just kind of how it is. We were kind of talking about Kyle Kuzma being great value Giannis. That's kind of how we're looking at him.
Yep.
Wes said watching Luka get fouled compared to Giannis is laughable. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is very similar. And we talked about this the last 2 weeks where if referees are literally sitting there saying that we're not calling fouls because he's playing through them, and then you're watching these guys foul baiting, and Jokic does it too, watching guys foul bait and getting rewarded. We just showed the clip of Ryan Rollins getting called for a foul for touching a guy's elbow and him flailing in the air. That's the stuff that the NBA is rewarding with foul calls. The game is going in the wrong direction. That's how I feel. The NBA is going in the wrong direction if that's how you're officiating stuff and that's how you're calling fouls. The game itself is going in the wrong direction. The professional level game is going in the wrong direction if that's how it's going to be officiated.
Yeah.
Steve said the Lakers game was pretty bad. I mean, the three-point shooting was tough. This was kind of a rough watch. They started 1 for 9 from the three-point line. They finished 15 out of 39, which is 38.5%, which is decent. The Lakers were 13 of 33. That's 39%. Jake, I'm sure you have the starter numbers, but the Bucks were on a back-to-back, also their 5th game in 7 days. Now, the Lakers were also on a back-to-back, but the Lakers didn't play overtime the night before. And what I'm going to say is far more relevant is that the Lakers aren't built to punish teams for leaving shooters open. That's how the Bucks are built. The Bucks don't need to change their offensive strategy. I don't think. It's an unfortunate situation that they're in back-to-backs and then, they're having a really bad shooting game, but the Bucks are going to live on the three-point line, except for Giannis. Everybody else is going to be on the three-point line. Literally everybody else. Like, there's not anybody on this team outside of Giannis who has actually been decent at the three-point line, but there's not anybody else that's not going to spend time on the three-point line, except for Jericho Sims and Andre Jackson Jr., I guess. But again, we're not seeing him much.
Yeah.
But literally every other player on the roster is going to spend time on the three-point line. Now, again, I say this often. I say this every year. There are no back-to-backs in the playoffs. So I don't think the Bucks need to change anything with their offensive strategy. The important thing to me in this situation is that the Bucks are generating good looks on the ones that they shot. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm really caring about, because that's what matters more, is getting the good looks at the three-point line. Wes said he's been watching less and less because of the refs. It's unfortunate, but I understand how people can feel that way.
Yeah, I really don't blame you, Wes.
I'm really starting to kind of understand the people who are saying that they like college basketball more than the NBA.
See, I think that people talk about how much they love college football, right? I think NFL clears college football. Not even close for me.
By a lot.
I think college basketball and NBA is very close.
It's getting to a point where I'm almost enjoying watching college basketball more than NBA.
Yeah, I'd agree.
To me, it's a more it's a more pure basketball product.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Because of the way that there's a lot of, gaming the refs and manipulating officiating that's going on in the NBA.
It's hilarious watching these guys flop around when you're watching on TV, and then you take a step back and you realize, like, that guy is 6'10" doing that, acting like my toddler when I tell her that she cannot have another cookie.
It's hilarious to see too when guys like barely get touched and then they like fling themselves in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's it sucks. The last thing that I had from the Lakers game is 17 turnovers. Like I said, I still want them down around 13. The Lakers had 13 steals alone to force those 17 turnovers. I think that goes a little bit also to the back-to-back, having some mental fatigue. Going forward, when it comes to back-to-backs, I'd just like to see the Bucks win the first of the back-to-back and then play the first half. If it's a winnable game, play it out. If it's not, rest the starters, which is basically what happens.
Yeah, I agree.
Wes said from the fans how it's played. I agree. It's understandable. I completely understand.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm still going to keep watching the Bucks because I love the Bucks and I love basketball. And obviously, they take notes for the show that I put on every Wednesday with my best friend. But I understand where you're coming from, Wes.
Yeah, 100%. I fully support what Tyler just said too. That's the same boat I'm in, obviously. So for this game, so this was the game that I was supposed to read, where this was Giannis's 9th 30-point game. So I apologize for that. Bucks are so Giannis got held under 6 assists. He had 32 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. The Bucks are 2-3 when Giannis gets held under 6 assists. So that 6 assist number might be like a magic number, where with the Brewers it was scoring 4 runs for a while there, right? Where the Brewers, when they scored over 4 runs, they were pretty good. And now the Bucks, it's Giannis getting 6 assists, because that means that because he's going to get his 30, right? We know that.
Yeah.
If he gets up to 6 assists, then obviously he's getting others involved and somebody else is scoring with him. Now, you could tell literally off the tip that the Bucks were running good offense. They were getting good shots. They were passing the ball well, and people were just missing shots. You mentioned the 1-9 start from 3. Kyle Kuzma was the one that missed a couple of them. I'm just going to say he had a rough night. 0 for 6 overall, 0 for 5 from 3. AJ Green did have a nice day. It was nice to see him kind of shooting and scoring. Now, I kind of have a little bit different opinion. Now, I do agree with, on the back-to-backs, you don't want to like overexert your starters, especially that number 34 guy. But, in games like this, you got guys like AJ Green, guys that could just straight up shoot it, target practice. Got guys like Gary Trent Jr., who is struggling from the field, target practice. There is no reps, like live game reps. And we've talked about that with developing young talent, right? Yeah. So you have a young guy in Sears sitting on the bench, get him in the game. This is absolutely the best opportunity. Oh, you got Luka on the court? Get in there, figure it out. Now, obviously we could say that because the Bucks ended up losing this game and the offensive flow was kind of to be desired, I would say, outside of the first quarter, because they were scoring well and they were keeping up with the Lakers in the first quarter. Just after that, the second quarter, dude, every time the Bucks get off to a hot start, I'm just like, here come the refs. Here come the refs. I say that to myself every second quarter when the Bucks just start getting on fire. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go.
Spoiler alert for the next game.
It's dead ass, dude. So other than that, Rollins and Kuz, they weren't their normal selves in this game. Rollins 4 for 11, 0 for 3. And those, and obviously we talked about Kuzma have a 1.1 rebound, but those are the two guys that have really been kind of jockeying for second best player on this team, through the first, 12 games of this season, whatever we're at, I forget, 13 now. But you don't have your secondary scorer. Bobby really hasn't been known as a scorer this year. He's kind of dropped off in the scoring department. And Miles Turner only took 2 3-pointers and 4 shots overall. This is what you get.
Yeah. Let's jump into Monday's game, and you can give me your thoughts from that one.
Oh, man. I want to talk about, like, the actual storyline of this game. But the Bucks got off to a really, really nice start in this game. Ball was hopping. Giannis was going absolutely insane in the first quarter, dude.
Do you want to know exactly how insane?
Yes.
Giannis scored or assisted on the Bucks' first 23 points.
Yes, he did. Yes, he sure did.
In 13 minutes, he had 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. If he played, let's say, approximately 32 and a half minutes this game, you multiply his numbers by 2.5, that would have been a pace of 35, 13, 10, and about 2.5, 3 steals.
Yeah, dude. When I was watching this game, you knew that this game was on national television because it was a Peacock game.
So, yeah.
A lot of people at Peacock, also NBC. So if you have cable or YouTube TV or whatever, it was on your TV. That's how I watched the Bucks and the Badgers. Is I did the dual screen. So when I was watching this game in the first quarter, I was like, Giannis is trying to carry today, because he had the same feeling that I had going into this one. I was like, the Bucks need to win a game versus the Cavs in freaking Cleveland, dude.
Yeah.
They need one badly. They haven't beat them, but I would like to look up the last time they actually did beat them in Cleveland. But then obviously, you know that Giannis ended up getting hurt in this game. So that's the major storyline for me. I will say that the Bucks kept it close for a long time, a lot closer than people thought. They put up a good fight. And the Cavs ended up pulling away late because they had what was clearly the best player on the floor in the fourth quarter in crunch time. Things would have been a lot different if we had 34. Now, the reason that Giannis got hurt, in my opinion, is because he has to fight through so much goddamn contact. What the fuck, NBA? What the fuck, Adam Silver?
We said it was going to happen. Other people said it was going to happen. This game, you brought up that it was on Peacock. Neutral announcers are questioning why the Bucks are getting officiated the way they are. Neutral guys. Robbie Hummel doesn't give a fuck about Wisconsin or Milwaukee.
No.
And he's wondering why the Bucks are getting the whistle they're getting. Jared Allen is reaching his arm in front of Giannis' stomach, but Giannis goes like this and puts his arm down, and then it's an offensive foul?
That's insane.
No, Jared Allen stuck his arm in there. Giannis didn't make him reach in there and then keep it.
What is the exact same play that DeRozan just did to Giannis? That's the exact same play.
He did it to Gary Trent Jr.
True. It's just I do not understand what I'm looking at.
The thing that's even more wild to me is that Jarrett Allen then gets, AJ Green's doing his best to try to guard a guy who's bigger than him. Yeah. Jarrett Allen throws him to the ground, and AJ gets called for the foul. What the actual fuck?
And then the first foul on AJ.
I just talked about it. You could send a bundle of 3 plays and be like, why is the NBA officiating the Bucks this way? Just send them that one and be like, why is this being the way that the Milwaukee Bucks are being officiated? What the hell?
Yeah, it's a joke, honestly. You could also send in AJ Green's first foul when he's literally just trying to navigate through traffic through a screen, and he barely puts his hand on who am I thinking of? And he gets called for a foul, and I'm like, dude, is this what we're doing right now? Is this what we're doing? Giannis is going to go on the other side of the court. There's going to be 3 people that hammer him on the back, on the shoulders, on the arm, on the hand, anything. He's gonna go, hey! He's probably gonna make the goddamn layup, and he's not gonna get a fucking
goal that doesn't get called.
It's just, oh my god, dude!
Wes, I agree. It's beyond frustrating to watch. This is basically I think this might be the 3rd or 4th show in a row where we're sitting here shouting and swearing, being like, what is happening?
And we're agreeing with each other. We're not mad at each other. We're
exactly.
Mad at
yeah, not mad at each other.
Like,
we're asking, the NBA, the league, like, what the hell, dude? And we said last week, we hope it doesn't take Giannis getting hurt for them to realize that there's some shit going on that's unfair, and now he's hurt.
And I will say this. If Giannis would have been out for the year, I think there would have been a lot of people going crazy on social media.
Yeah.
The fact that it's only a 1 to 2 week kept it quiet.
Yeah.
Like, there's still people that reacted to it, no doubt. I reacted to it myself. Lots of people, lots of Bucks Nation reacted to it, rightfully so, because we've been seeing this man get screwed over the entire year. But if Giannis would have got hurt, like, bad, like, torn ACL or something, dude, there would have been a whole NBA community on Adam Silver's ass.
Yeah.
Because this cannot continue.
Yeah. And like you said, it sucks that now we're at this point, but the foul trouble to AJ Green, Ryan Rollins getting in foul trouble helped this game, helped the Cavs get back into it and take their lead. Giannis obviously didn't come out for the second half. Jericho Sims started out for him in the second half. I want to give credit in this game. The first quarter, the Bucks defense was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. If you want to watch just a little bit of what the Bucks defense is capable of, just watch the first quarter of the Bucks against the Cavs. The defense was fantastic. Even the second half, they came out with good energy. Even without Giannis, they were still generating some good 3-point looks. They were making enough to keep him in the game. Like Jake said, they kind of hung around. Bobby Portis helped the offense towards the end of the third quarter, and I think Gary Trent Jr. in the fourth quarter was doing some good things to keep the offense going. But the Bucks were missing some makeable shots, giving up some drop-off buckets in the paint, allowing the Cavs to kind of break them down. Overall, like I said, I think the Bucks played pretty good defense. The first quarter when the Bucks led 33-26, Bucks actually had the Cavs doubled up 26-13 about 7 minutes into the game. And that's when Giannis was going crazy. Wes said Adam Silver is one that needs to be investigated. It's coming top down from somewhere. So whether it's Adam Silver or it's ESPN putting pressure on the league, because ESPN is the ones that want Giannis out of Milwaukee for the last 6 years. There's some other outlets that are kind of following suit, but ESPN are the one leading the charge of getting Giannis out of Milwaukee. That said, Ryan Rollins, Miles Turner, and AJ Green combined 13 of 23 from three. That's 56.5%. So if we want to talk how the Bucks can manage going forward without Giannis for the next week or two, we're looking at somewhere. I'm looking at like December 1st to December 3rd, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. So the Bucks games in that time are home versus Philly, versus Detroit, versus Portland, at Miami, at the Knicks, versus the Nets, at Washington, and versus Detroit. I see 3 winnable games even without Giannis, and for sure capability to win at home anytime. Now, let's say the Bucks go 3-5 in that 8-game stretch. That would put them at 11-12, getting Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr. back potentially for that second Detroit game. Last year through 23 games, they were 12-11. And to be honest, their next 17 games after those 8, assuming health, I think 13 of those 17 are winnable, and there's only 1 back-to-back in that 17-game stretch. Yeah. So I'm looking at December 3rd for Giannis. Now, in that time, talking about how the Bucks can stay afloat. Ryan Rollins, AJ Green, and Miles Turner is your offense. Kyle Kuzma is your facilitator. I expect Gary Harris to be playing about 18 to 20 minutes a game, and I think we see a little bit of Ajax in the second unit, essentially becoming great value Kyle Kuzma. That's kind of how I'm looking at it for the Bucks playing without Giannis. Between now and next Wednesday, they have 3 games, which is tomorrow against Philly, Saturday against Detroit, which I will be at, and Monday against Portland. So you can give me your thoughts if there's other things you want to say about how the Bucks play without Giannis, but next week, Wednesday, we'll be talking about 3 games without him for sure.
Yeah, you talk about December 3rd for Giannis' return, and that's also going to be my return to the basketball court, so I'm pretty excited for that day.
Oh, boy.
Dude, you set me up, bro. I had to. I'm sorry. I had to. But real talk, we talked about a lot of the Bucks play style this entire year, right? Because of the pushing the pace, the more point guards, space and pace, shoot a bunch of threes. That's how you win.
Yeah.
You move the ball. Everybody's got to share it. Now, Giannis is a great facilitator. We all know that. Giannis is great. He's everything for this Milwaukee Bucks franchise over the last 10 years at the very least. Probably more like 9 years, but I'll just say 10 to give us a nice round number. But looking at how this team can win, we've seen how they can win. They literally beat the Warriors how they can win.
Yep.
Play tough defense, move the ball, push the pace. Now, rebounding is going to have to be something. So Miles Turner, you know what I need Miles Turner to do? I need Miles Turner to show me what he could do down in the post. Yeah. He's going to have to be the guy that goes down there and plays a little bit of bully ball. I would like it if Bobby Portis would drive with some conviction every once in a while. That would be nice. Kyle, that's the biggest difference in Kyle Kuzma's game this year, is getting to the rim with a goddamn purpose.
Yeah.
When you what did Geigel teach us when we were in high school? If you're going to dribble the ball, have a point to it.
Yeah.
Don't just dribble the ball to dribble the damn ball. Go somewhere with the thing.
Yep.
So I'm going to take those, basic skills that we learned as freshmen and sophomores and apply it to my professional basketball team.
Throw Ryan Rollins in there too. He's been getting downhill better.
Rollins is definitely going to be the guy that's going to be scoring. He's probably going to average like 25 points over the next couple of weeks with Giannis out. Because he's pretty much done that with Giannis out anyways. He did it with Giannis in there. But another guy, I would love it if I know that Prince is going to be out for a while, but Prince would be really nice to have with Giannis out, honestly. You wouldn't miss Giannis's size as much, which would be nice. But, Bobby's going to have to step up scoring-wise now, so it is what it is.
I think to a point, Gary Trent Jr. also. But, one of the other games that the Bucks played without Giannis was against Cleveland also. And they were down by, 23 points? And they had like an 18-0 run.
Yeah.
So that, I think the Bucks are going to play a lot of zone defense in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they are.
A lot of practice at it.
Yeah, they
I don't
are.
think they're necessarily going to come out in zone defense, but I think the Bucks will play a lot of zone defense the next 2 weeks.
We're about to find some things out about these role players.
Yeah. Yeah, guys are going to be earning some minutes here. And shots.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Bucks basketball before we switch to Badgers basketball?
Nah, let's talk some Badgers.
All right. Courtney said, hey, hot stuff. We didn't bring Mike onto the show yet, but Courtney also says, hi, Jake.
That's why I'm laughing.
All right. We're going to bring Mike in, and we're going to switch to Badgers basketball. And we can start with Mike like we normally do. Mike is going to cover the guards against Southern Illinois Edwardsville.
What a name.
Well, Mr. Hot Stuff. Now Hot Stuff is on the show. Now we're good.
See, we all got the red and white Badger memo also.
I like that.
It looks great.
That.
Now, things are on the up. We're looking good. But no, great game the other night. Badgers got the job done, 94-69.
Nice.
Led by Nick. Yeah. Led by Nick Boyd, and he's already played some good basketball. But honestly, 4 games in here, I think this was actually his most complete game. To be honest, 28 minutes. He scored 22 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and really most importantly, 2 0 turnovers. I think one of the biggest call-outs, first off, he was plus 29 with when he was on the floor in comparison to everything else that stood out right away. He had multiple assists to Austin Rapp, multiple to Norland Winter, and also one to John Blackwell as well. So he's really good. I've said this before. This team's very elite when it comes to passing. So I want to definitely call that out too. No, he was 4-7 from 3. He took I feel like this game, some of the shots that he has taken in games past have been a little questionable. I could honestly say every single shot that he took in this game, whether it was from 3 or whatnot, they were all good shots. Whether that was from the 3-point line, 4-7. He had a very beautiful Euro step finish in the second half there, to really put us up in the second half there. But no, it was a great game on his end, and not even just him, but 8 Badgers had at least 1 assist in this game. So just going back to that point about, I think this team is really elite when it comes to passing. I think that's gonna just continue for these guys, this season. So Jack, going down the line here, Jack Janicki played 16 minutes, 1 rebound, 1 turnover. I think he did play a little bit rushed in this game. It didn't look much of what he has looked like in the past. So, being the first guy off the bench, especially going forward, specifically starting on Friday, we're going to need a little more bench production from him since he is the first guy off the bench, essentially, as well as Bialuskis. But, no, I'm looking forward to seeing when he can bring us to the table, starting this Friday. Hayden Jones didn't get too much time. He had 9 minutes, but he had 2 points and 2 rebounds. Again, I said this last week. I think as we get into, the BYU game and even Big Ten play, we're probably not going to see him too much. I pretty much see this as a 9-man rotation tops. I think, with Braden Carrington, Janicki, Will Garlock, and Bialuskis. But, you never know, I guess. But, other than that, it was a great game. And, we'll see what happens going on Friday.
Courtney said hi to Mike, too.
I thought it was hot stuff. No, kid.
Hot stuff.
I don't want to confuse the audience here.
John Blackwell is back in the mix offensively. He was 6 for 11 from the field, was 5 of 6 from the 3-point line, started 5 for 5. He only missed his last one. He was also good on the rebounds. He had 6. 3 of them were offensive rebounds. Badgers as a team did a really good job offensive rebounding early, which kind of countered their 1 for 7 start from the 3-point line. So that kind of balanced it out, made it not so noticeable that they missed a shit ton of threes to start the game. Andrew Rohde made his first 3 and then was relatively quiet offensively after that. He made all 3 of his free throws, and I'm just going to continue bringing up that he stayed active defensively, which is something I'm going to continue appreciating because it needs to be brought up because it needs to be appreciated. Mm-hmm. And then Braden Carrington. He is so active. I love Braden Carrington. He is both ends of the court. He is never standing still. Ever. He's never standing still. He made 2 threes. One of them was a potential 4-point play that he missed the free throw on, but he was active while guys were driving to the basket, setting screens for each other. He's running the baseline, comes out, pops the 3-point line, and is a safety valve, hits a 3, and gets fouled. That's activity. It's an effort thing. Jake and I, we talk about it all the time. We love guys that play like that. We love guys that play with effort, play with hustle. There's no promise that he's getting the ball there, but he's putting forth effort, and it helped his teammate. If he would have just stood in the opposite corner watching that 2-man game happen, Badgers might have a turnover there. But instead they get a 3 out of it with a chance for 4.
Good point.
Mm-hmm. Now, overall, I love how the whole team is showing hustle defensively, scrambling, rotating, recovering after showing on ball screens, all of that. The Badgers, I'm really appreciating the way they're playing defense. I mentioned that they started 1 for 7 on threes. They made 4 of their next 5. And then, it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, the Badgers are only up 7 points at halftime versus Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. But SIUE was making some tough shots. They made some tough contested shots. They made some really crazy step backs. After half, they were rebounding better. They kept the defense tough. 5 minutes into the second half, the Badgers were on a 14-0 run, and the lead was up to 19 points. Overall, the Badgers shot 39 three-pointers. 39 threes is wild. They made 15 of them. It's 38.5%. They are shooting 36% on the season. That is in the top third of D1 college basketball. So as long as they're above like 35%-ish, is kind of that college basketball average. In the NBA, it's a little bit higher. Obviously, that's the next level. But if they're up above like 34, 35%, that's going to be above average. So as long as they're staying above that mark, I'm going to continue letting them fly. So, Jake, what did you take away from the bigs?
Yeah, talking about the 3-point shot, they also took 38 versus Ball State and 31 versus Northern Illinois. So they are not afraid to let this thing fly. Tyler's family's in the chat right now. I love it. So you got Rapp. He played 28 minutes, had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. 3 of his 8 rebounds were on the offensive end. I got to give a shout out to John Blackwell. He also had 3 offensive rebounds, so he's just straight up just good at everything. The Badgers as a team had 14 offensive rebounds. 6 came from the guys that I'm going to cover. 3 from Rapp, 1 from Winter, and 2 from Bielauskis. Winter had 9, 8, and 2. He also had the sickest highlight of the entire game where he had some ball pressure, got a steal, ball bounces over, and he gets the ball back off the lob. That shit was nasty.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Having Jeff Levering and Brian Butch, 2 Wisconsin GOATs, call this game was also pleasing to me. I enjoyed that very much. Bielauskis, I'm starting to come around on him. I like him a lot.
I told you guys.
Yeah, I'm really starting to like him a lot. He had 8 points, 4 rebounds, again, 2 of them offensive, 2 assists, efficient from the field. He plays good defense, and he gives you a solid 14 minutes, right? Garlock, if that guy ever figures out how to score, he's going to be really good.
They said they're starting to
already an elite passer. He's a great passer.
He's really good. I was going to say he's an elite passer.
I think he's got the best potential to be an elite defender out of the 4 bigs that they're playing a lot. I think he's got the best potential to be the elite defender.
Yes.
And they said coming like into the summer, which he was working through an injury at the time, but they're trying to start spacing him away from the basket a little bit. So that'll be a slowly but surely thing, which hopefully is a thing he can develop. But I mean, if he's here for the long haul, which it sounds like he is, he wants to be, I think he's got potential, 2 years from now where we're talking about like, dude, this dude's one of the best big men in the Big Ten.
Yeah. And, when I was thinking about it, Rapp is only a sophomore and Garlock is a freshman, that could be a nasty duo with how Rapp likes to play from the outside.
Yeah.
If Garlock develops even a 3-pointer that say is 30% from 3, and he could still dominate down low, and with his passing ability, that could be a really, really nice combo in a couple of years. But looking at the averages of these guys, I'm not going to go through all of it, but Winter and Rapp Winter's averaging 1.5 blocks. Rapp's averaging 1.8 blocks. Rapp is shooting 31.8% from 3. He shot 35% last year. So if you can get that up to that 35, 36%, Nolan Winter's shooting 25% from 3 right now. If he can get that up to, a 31 to 32%, I mean, dude.
We're 4 games in. It's still a pretty small sample.
I know. But if we can get that average up there, the schedule starts to tick up a little bit. So we need their play also to tick up, which is the only reason I'm bringing this up. I'm not doing this to drag anybody.
Yep.
The potential is there. And this team, I asked it last week, this team had the 4th highest average through the first 3 games. I don't know if you guys noticed that during the game. I was like, hey, I asked that on the podcast last week. And then they show it on TV. Man, somebody must be watching. But they averaged 93 points per game over the first 3 games. They got to their average. The highest was in 1970. They averaged 97.3. That must have been a fun year to watch the Badgers. Is all I got to say.
Was that
in
before
black
the
and white
3-point line too, or not? Maybe was that before the 3-point line? Well, I'm just trying to think.
Probably.
That would have been Kareem would have been in college at the time, so I'm thinking, yeah.
Damn,
that's just impressive. I don't know. I just thought of that off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's impressive. Averaging 97 points per game with no 3-point line is crazy, bro.
Man, and there wasn't. It just had to be just a different brand of basketball. I wonder if there's tape out on it. I'd be very interested to watch it, just see what that brand of basketball looked like.
Yeah.
Bro, talk about no defense. God damn.
Dude, it had to just be constant running. It had to be just nothing but transition offense.
Yeah.
No such thing as half-court offense.
Friggin' averaging
fucking just a 10-second shot clock.
Yeah. I might have to watch some film if there's still any out there.
Right.
All right. So we only have one basketball game this week. We only have one basketball game next week. That takes place Friday night at BYU, the team that knocked the Badgers out of the tournament. A very sound basketball team with some really good players. They're obviously ranked in the top 10 for a reason. Very early non-conference test for the Badgers, but they put this on their schedule on purpose.
Let's do it.
They wanted the test. So I like that. John Blackwell's talked about how they want to face them again. Nolan Winters talked about it. They want BYU. So I expect a very motivated Badgers team on Friday. And that'll be our only Badger basketball game next Wednesday.
It'd be really sick if John Tonje was able to go to the game, since he plays for Utah and all.
That would be sweet.
He very well might, man. He very well might. It's going to be at his house, essentially.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Now it's going to be big boy ball now, boys. You got AJ Dibansa, the projected number 1 overall draft pick, playing for BYU. He's averaging over 20 a game. Richie Saunders, the guy, he killed us last year. He's averaging 19.5, 6.3 rebounds a game. I'm just looking forward to seeing, really, we know we can score, right? We know we can pass. We definitely know we can pass. We have good vision. I'm just looking to see what kind of adjustments we will make, especially when we're guarding guys like AJ, like Dibansa, who's going to pick him up. And basically, I keep harping on this, but it's going to be worth monitoring, just like the transition defense and even the interior, especially with 2 of the young guys coming off the bench and even Nolan Winter playing the 5 now, just straight up. How we're going to react to that when we're playing, the big boys, essentially. So just stuff that I'm going to monitor as we go. And, I'm looking forward to playing, like I said, big boy ball, baby. Let's get it.
I want to see if they can play Dibansa the way that they played Ace Bailey last year, where they frustrated him. He was taking bad shots. I think he ended up being 1 for 9 from the field.
He was terrible against us.
Yeah. The Badgers did a number on Ace Bailey.
Yeah. Another guy who's going to be in Utah.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I don't really care what he's doing because I think he's kind of a douche, but
hey, he's a rich douche.
Yeah, he's got that going for him.
Yes.
All right. Let's switch to Badger football. We have our abbreviated recaps. I'll let Jake go first. Jake, what did you take away from the offensive line at Indiana?
Yeah, they played pretty well overall. Played a little bit better in the first half. The whole team did, obviously. They didn't give up a ton of pressures in the passing game. Passing game kind of didn't get its footing again. It was all right, but they just struggled to get the run going. Indiana, I went over the numbers last week, really good against the run, and the Badgers' O-line has struggled to get the run going for a majority of the year, and that was the case on Saturday.
Mike, what did you take away from the run game?
I mean, pretty much everything that Jake said, right? I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo, until he went down, I mean, he had some moments, right? 9 carries, 32 yards, he had a 14-yard run. Basically, I think it seemed like once he got hurt, like all the air just left, the stadium for Wisconsin, essentially. And that's when it kind of like went completely downhill. I mean, as far as the game plan goes, I loved like the first half, how we did it. Like that first drive that we were on was pitch perfect. Pitch perfect.
It was awesome.
Beautifully called. I'll give Grimes credit for that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we didn't come away with points. That should have been 10-10 at half. It honestly should have been 10-10. We had a ball game. We still had a ball game, but down 7-10. But as far as Jake, hit it on the head there with the Indiana's rush defense, because after that, you got Darian Dupree at 7 carries, 6 yards. Jackson Aker 1 carry for 2 yards, and there really wasn't much there for the rest of the game. But that's honestly right about it.
As far as the passing game goes, they brought back the Braylon Allen shovel pass, so that was cool. Carter Smith is doing well in some RPO situations. There was a 3rd and 8 that he picked up running the ball. Their opening drive that Mike was referring to was a 7-minute and 39-second opening drive. That's awesome to see the Badgers possessing the ball for that length of time, and essentially it should have ended in points. I mean, it looked like Vakos was trying to kick it a little extra to get it through the wind and forgot that it also needed to go straight.
That was bad.
So there's that. If there's anything that I can take away from it, it's that opening drive showed progress at the very least. So that was encouraging itself. The 4th and 1, Jeff Grimes, I applaud you for calling a play action pass on a 4th and 1. That ended up being a 45-yard touchdown to Lance Mason. That is the 2nd longest play of the season for the Badgers offense.
Jesus Christ.
I'll give you a crisp high five to either one of you if you can tell me what the first is.
It's the Trechka Kahuna run.
The end around, right? Yeah.
69 yards?
I think it was a flat 60.
60, okay.
But even still, yes. Because I think Ballard had one that was just a little bit shorter than that. I think Ballard had like a 41-yarder. Something like
that. The Bama game probably.
Yeah, that was their late touchdown. I think that was like a 41-yarder. But anyways, that's about it for the pass game. That the 4th and 1 play action touchdown to Lance Mason was definitely the highlight of the game, and obviously the only touchdown. Jake, what did you take away from the defensive line?
So much like how Indiana held our run game down, the Badgers did a really nice job holding Indiana's run in check. They averaged a little over 2 yards per carry, which is elite stuff. The run defense has been really good all year long. Credit to everybody who's played on the D-line, everybody who's played in that linebacker room and in the DB room. Everybody's done a nice job against the run. They struggled to consistently get after Mendoza, which allowed him to have some extra time, and they got a few chunk plays in the pass game. But other than that, they did all right.
Yeah, and I feel similarly about the linebackers. I mean, we got Christian Allegro back, which is great. We've seen the freshman playing really well lately. Mason Posa actually had a sack on a 3rd and 2 to force a punt. That was a great job by him to get through that. And I wanted to hold Indiana under 30 points. That to me would have constituted a win. They scored 31. So it's close to what I wanted them to be able to do. But overall, it's good to see Christian Allegro back, and it's good to see the freshman just playing more. It makes it's to the point where like I'm enjoying watching the Badgers play defense a little bit, even though they're still giving up points. But I think Michael kind of covers some of that in the secondary.
No, I mean, I'm gonna say right off the bat, credit to the D line and the linebackers for pretty much keeping us in this game as long as we could. Obviously, we're going to give up some big plays. Essentially, De'Ani Hill, he had 9 tackles, but he also gave up a couple deep balls, right? I think it goes back to what Jake said. Our run defense has been, honestly, like collectively, it's been great all year. But, Mendoza still goes 22-24 for 299 yards and 4 touchdowns. It is what it is. I mean, we did get 5 sacks on them too. I mean, it's not like we were completely, like out of the blue like the whole entire time. But no, when you don't keep the great ones down, essentially, right? I mean, this guy is going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. If not, he's going to be number 2, maybe 3 at the very, very bare minimum. But
he's probably going to win, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we did give up some big plays, specifically in the second half. We did turn over the ball, which we gave him short field on for a possession, which didn't help. But no, I mean, not too many takeaways. I mean, it's been kind of the same story in the secondary for the most part this year. We can play run deep very well, but we also give up enough big plays as well. So no, that's about it.
All righty, Jake, what's your goal against Illinois offensively?
Yeah. So, hey, look, another ranked opponent. Lucky us, huh? 6 of the last 7 games have been versus ranked opponents. The only one was Iowa that was not ranked, and Illinois this week replaces Iowa at number 21. So, yay us. We are so lucky to have that. Tell you what, feast or famine, and that is literally the Badgers' year this year. O-line, you got to get the ground game going. You got to allow Smith to get in some third and manageable situations. You cannot live in the third and longs. You got to allow him and Grimes to call some play action, some RPOs, some bootlegs to get Smith an extra second of time to diagnose. This guy is still a freshman. He's still very, very, very early in his career. So if we can get him into some situations, that'd be great. Illinois is 110th against the pass. They allow 246.3 per game. And they're 29th against the run. They allow 119. So if you get the run game close to that 120 mark, you're going to be living good because Smith is going to have some time. Some play action is going to work. Side note, I was very, very, very happy after the game to see that Ituka was good and he was on the team playing. He was fine because that was a scary situation watching that young kid lay on the field like that. I was like, oh, God, please do not let this be something that's so serious. But, yeah, let's run the ball a little bit. Let's get the run game going and get Smith in some advantageous situations. I would love to win the last home game of the year. That would be awesome.
So Jake is essentially pairing my goal from last week with my goal for this week and taking all of my notes. Last week I talked about wanting to get Carter Smith in some bootlegs, some rollouts, some RPO situations, and not on the short side of the field.
Yes.
If you're on the right hash mark, run it to the strong side of the field where there's more space to work with, because that also gives you more cushion. Running it to the weak side, basically just gives them another defender the sideline to worry about, and then it forces a quicker decision. So roll into the strong side. That's where I'd like to see him get some area to work. You brought up Illinois allowing the 112th is what I had pass yards per game. Grimes did have some good RPOs called for Carter Smith last week. I'd love to see Carter Smith hit the 200-yard mark this week. So, Mike, what is your goal for the offense?
To have a healthy running back, first and foremost. I mean, yeah, we don't know the status officially. Giannis Antetokounmpo most likely, if I had to guess, he's probably not going to play, but he hasn't been ruled out. I mean, he was able to get back on the plane. Sounds like Jake said, everything, the most important part, he was good to go. But I really want to see, if Yak's going to be out again, Dylan Jones is obviously out. I do want to see, because this guy's making plays back-to-back weeks now. I want to see Jackson Ager get the ball a little more, whether it was from the shovel pass, kind of like what Tyler alluded to earlier. He has no problem running up the gut for us. I mean, this guy was a former state track athlete, right? So he can run. The guy can get out in space and run. So I would like to see him get a few more opportunities, because even if Darian Dupree is active this week, I still don't think he's 100%.
Right.
Based on just watching him run just on a couple plays, but it's going to be just those two guys, I think, unless Yak comes back. I haven't heard anything at all with him for the last week and a half. But no, I would just like to see ultimately more opportunities come Jackson Akers' way if this is if that's how it's going to roll out.
He can line up all over the place too. You can line him up at tailback, fullback, tight end. I mean, yeah. Jake, defensively, what is your goal for the Badgers?
Yeah, so Altmaier is a very, very experienced player. You're not going to trick him with any coverages. Our pass defense is not good anyways. So the only way and the best way to get after any quarterback, you can go through NFL history, NCAA history. The best way to disrupt a good quarterback is to hit him early and hit him often. So that's my goal. Get after him early, play with your hair on fire. And I wrote something else down here. So I was at this game, sadly. There was a game October 1st, 2022, when the Wisconsin Badgers got absolutely fucking pounded by the Illinois Fighting Illini. What was it, 34-10 or 35-10 or something like that? I was at that game, and to me, this felt like the start of the downfall, which is the state of the Badgers that we are in right now. If the Badgers can play hard and earn themselves a win, I think they could reverse the course. I really believe that. You got a ranked team coming in. You're on senior day. You're very close to early signing day period. We just lost an offensive lineman to Indiana. We got a running back that a lot of people are going after. You got to win one of these next two games to give some hope going into the offseason.
If the Badgers finish the season having won 3 out of 4, 2 of them against ranked opponents, and getting the axe back, I think this team feels much better at the end of the season than it did 2 weeks ago.
This is a much different 5-7 finish than last year if that happens.
Agreed. For me, looking at the linebacker group, Mason Posa, Cooper Catalano, Christian Allegro is a damn good linebacker group, even though Christian Allegro only played 10 snaps last week, 9 snaps. But if that ticks up, Illinois is 88th in rushing yards per game at 132. I'm looking to see, can the Badgers hold them under 110? Under 100? That would be something that I would take away and be like, regardless of the score, if the Badgers can control the run game, which like you said, you brought up Altmaier, who's a good quarterback, very possibly drafted next year. I don't think he's going to be a first-round pick, but, he could be a Tyler Shuck, late fourth-round pick kind of guy.
Yeah, he could be a late rounder. I can absolutely see that.
He's kind of one of those flyer-type guys that, builds out a roster. But if the Badgers can control the run game, that to me is also, again, like a building block that, hey, the Badgers can build themselves defensively on being a team that stops the run. Mike, what are you looking for defensively?
I just wrote down avoid big plays, and the reason why I say that is so Illinois got their two top receivers, Hank Beatty, 758 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, 14 yards per catch, right? Colin Dixon, their second guy, 423 yards, 5 touchdowns, 15.1 yards per catch. So he's got big playability. So at the end of the day, we just got to avoid those big chunk plays that, basically turn, whether that's turns of field position or, gives up those big play points, kind of like what, fucked us a little bit against Indiana last week. But, it's no secret. Altmaier's a stud. He's third in the Big Ten with 2,427 passing yards, 21 touchdowns. He has no problem taking off, too. He's got 170 yards rushing as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how Mason Posa plays that out. Probably similar to how they did against Washington when he was in a QB spy quite a bit. So that'll just be interesting to see. I know that was linebackers, but no, with the secondary, just avoid the big chunk plays. Pretty much play how you did in the first half against Indiana, man, at the end of the day. So avoid big chunk plays, keep us in the game, and get a win over Big Bert.
Yeah, that would be ideal. And like we said, if the Badgers are winning 3 out of 4 of their last 4 games, and their only losses to the number 2 team in the country, and like Jake said, this feels like a much better 5-7, especially if they're finishing well toward the end of the season. After people are freaking out that they're keeping Fickle around next year, and after that they're losing some recruits and stuff like that, and after everybody's basically out on the program and they're giving you get the generic the locker room's giving up on them, and I would say over the last 2.5 games, they seem to be fighting harder than they did the previous 3 games. So very interested to see how the Badgers come out against Illinois. Obviously, they're back at home, so it would be nice if the crowd could help them out a little bit. But we will be back next week with 3 more Bucks games, another Badger basketball game, and another Badger football game. So other than that, if you are a Packers fan also, check out our Tuesday night shows. That's when we do our Packers recaps and previews. We have some Packer guys like Mike, who's a Badger guy. We have some Packer guys that join us for that as well. So check that out on our Tuesday night shows. Other than that, thanks everybody for tuning in and commenting along. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week.
Later, fellas.
Good luck tonight, Mike.
Okay, you're gonna freak out at this deal. Chatbooks is giving you 12 monthly mini photo books for just $12, plus free shipping. It's the easiest way to finally do something with all those photos on your phone. Finally. No stress, no hassle, just memories made easy. Go to chatbooks.com/get12. That's chatbooks.com/get12 before this deal disappears.